At 16 years old, I travel with my sister, Sarah Barnes, to the remote mountains of Nectar Valley to participate in a program. While herding cattle in the mountains, I fall asleep. In my drowsy state, I hear strange panting and gasps. Thick fog has somehow risen throughout the forest by the time I wake up. Suddenly, Sarah's anxious voice calls out from within the fog. I'm about to respond when someone suddenly covers my mouth with their hand. A voice whispers in my ear, "Don't answer. That's not your sister, it's the temptress." Nutty released me but remained tense, his eyes filled with terror. His expression frightened me, making my heart pound wildly. "What's the temptress?" I asked. As Nutty pulled me down the mountain, he explained, "My uncle told me there's a spider on Crimson Mountain. The villagers also call it the seduction spider. This creature can mimic human voices, calling people by name. As soon as the person being called responds, they immediately fall under its poison, become entranced, and run to its nest to die." Nutty spoke while his feet never stopped moving, dragging me along at breakneck speed. I said anxiously, "The cattle! The commune's cattle are still in the mountains. How can we worry about the cattle at a time like this? They've probably already been eaten by the temptress. You'd better worry about yourself. The temptress has targeted you." Nutty's long legs made me stumble constantly as he pulled me along. We quickly reached the fields where Sarah and several other youths were busy fertilizing the radishes with manure. Seeing Nutty and me from a distance, Sarah put down her ladle and walked toward us. Without explanation, Nutty waved his hand, signaling for Sarah to come home with us. On the way, he told Sarah about the temptress. He pushed both of us into the inner room when we reached home, closing the door while instructing, "Sarah, watch over Alex. Don't let him run outside. I'm going to the other end of the village to get my uncle." The door had barely closed when Nutty pushed it open again. He removed an amulet from around his neck and handed it to me with grave emphasis. "Hang this amulet behind the door. No matter who comes, don't open the door under any circumstances." Sarah and I sat in the room, staring at each other in confusion. Nutty had been so urgent and spoke so briefly that we still hadn't figured out what kind of monster this temptress actually was, but we had always trusted Nutty. His extremely nervous manner made both our hearts rise with anxiety. "Sarah, what's this all about? We're in modern times now. Can there really be monsters?" The moment I finished speaking, someone called my name from outside. I was about to respond when Sarah suddenly covered my mouth. I looked at Sarah and saw her eyes wide with terror, her lips pale with fright. The female voice outside continued calling sweetly, "Alex? Alex? Are you home? Open the door." I didn't bring my keys. I began trembling too because the voice outside belonged to Sarah. Nothing could be more eerie than this. At that moment, Sarah was covering my mouth, her palms damp with cold sweat and her lips pressed tightly together. Her voice continued circling around the house outside the door, never fading away. Sarah and I were terrified, our faces pale as ghosts, not daring even to breathe loudly. We gripped each other's hands tightly, trembling nonstop.